We have two two really industry veterans who have come here and who are joining us for this panel today. When you look at Rajesh Mapuskar, his career has spanned across not just films, but also music videos, also ad film work. And he's dabbled in a variety of things within the film making process. So whether it is direction, production, he's worked with various departments and he's got a variety of experience within the filmmaking craft itself. Suchitra Krishnamurthy is, many of you all would know her. She's an actor. She started off her career with Shah Rukh Khan in a film called Kabhi Haan Kabhi Na. And again, very, very versatile as a person. I've had the good fortune of interacting with her several times. And I mean, the first time I met her at her place, it was so refreshing because she's not just an actor, she's also a singer, she's also a painter, and she's got these lovely paintings in her house, which is why I've invited these two people today, because I feel like they're both extremely versatile and have had very, very eclectic kind of body of work.
It's giving me the feel of an international film festival, which is so great. So may you go from strength to strength. Really, this will grow into a movement, I'm very sure, because it's giving me that vibe and mere muh mein ghee chakkar.
You guys have focused on a couple of things and have done exceedingly well in all. So where is that ethos and where does that philosophy really come from? It's just something that I wanted to know.
Okay, I'll speak for myself, but talking about unidimensional, I think hardcore careerists are always unidimensional. But if you're an artist who's in it for the love of the arts, it's difficult to stay restrained to what is expected of you or what is the practical or, materially sensible thing to do. You go where your heart takes you. So I think that's how I have led my life.
I'm an explorer. I don't know what I wanted to do in my life. I still don't know what I want to do in my life. I was thrown into making films without any knowledge or support or background. It's just that I got a bigger salary, so I dived into being an assistant director. And then I enjoyed it and I loved it. I said, wow, this is great. They are telling stories and maybe the stories are touching people's lives and they are feeling good about it. And of course, there's a glamour attached, there's money attached. All that comes as a part of that exploration. So thus, I'm still exploring, and not that I choose to be very ambitious and try varieties, but fortunately, something that gets thrown at me, and I wonder, oh, why it is come to me? What can I do with it? Like I did Ventilators, like a Marathi film. Before that, I did Ferrari Ki Sawari, that's Hindi film. Both were like slice of life films, And immediately after Ventilator, I was offered Delhi Crime Season 2, which is a procedural drama of murder mystery, which is the famous show Delhi Crime Season 1. And I said, why am I being called for a show like this? Because I am into slice of life, not slicing life. So why would I get into something like this? But then I was convinced by the producer that because of your handling of the characters and your ability to handle the multiple characters at the same time, we wanted you to try this out. I said, oh, wow, let me try this. If somebody feels I can do it, let me see what I can do it. Thus then came Rudra, which is again procedural drama. Then came one Tamil show, which I did, which was a completely different, same genre, but different language, different culture. So I tried doing all that. I think I'm just fortunate that whatever comes my way, I don't refuse it. I just go with the thing that let me what I can do with it. That's my answer.
I'll tell you, when I started painting very late, and I was 30 when I started, and I exhibited. And I remember telling my arts teacher, I said, "What is this? I'm so late to the party." And he's like, "Don't worry, Rabindranath Tagore started at 60." So I think it's never too late to do anything that you want to explore and you want to start, and just have the courage to follow.
I'm so inspired by what you just shared because, frankly speaking, my personal philosophy is always to be in the kind of pursuit of beauty and poetry rather than be in the pursuit of money or any kind of material success. That takes you in different directions because you're not, like you said, you're not a careerist. You're looking at doing what you love and working for the pure love and passion for working rather than working
it's a passion approach rather than a ambition approach. Yeah.
No, that's absolutely beautiful. So, what was that one moment in your life? It could have been a piece of literature you read, or a film you saw, or a play that you saw that made you sort of choose storytelling as your profession and as your career. What was that one turning point?
I have not had that turning point because I think I started so young. I was just very active on stage. It's like you couldn't keep me off the stage. Even now, be careful. I mean, and not let you speak. So I started very young, and but yeah, there are lots of films that still have stayed with me. And for example, Bhumika, I think that's one film I've seen some 35, 40 times. And at the same time, I was also watching Bobby simultaneously and Jungle Book. So, I mean, there are different things that influence you in different ways, and you don't know what it is. And you wonder whether it's going to amount to something later or not. But at that time, I remember being completely engrossed and bowled by it.
Yeah, I don't have a specific turning point, but as you asked me the question while she was saying, I was revisiting what are all those turning point in my life that I started doing this. First turning point is when I became the first assistant director because there was a fatter salary than my earlier. So I said I should dive into this. Then I started working there. Then from serials, I was doing an ad film which Maheshane was part of it. He was shooting it. And we used to work in serial and they used to just give very simple food because of the budgetary constraint. And when I was doing ad film, for the lunch, there was chili chicken. So I said, wow, I want to do this. So that was a turning point again to to dive into ad film. And I started doing ad film. And during the ad film, my co-actor, I was acting in the ad film as I was a model. My co-model was Rajkumar Hirani. So we became friends. So the journey began with him because I didn't know. I asked him, "तू करता क्या है?" बोलता है, "मैं एडिटर हूँ." मतलब करता क्या है? मतलब मुझे डायरेक्टर समझ में आता है, राइटर समझ में आता है, एडिटर समझ में नहीं आता. मैंने नहीं, I edit the film, I put the film together, whatever these guys are shooting. So I started understanding, acha, this is an editor's job. He was offered to do trailer of 1942 Love Story. And thus then we got exposed to cinema. And we said, wow, it's enough of 15-second, 30-second. Let's do 2-hour film. And then we got into 2-hour film. So it's like a multiple things which I like jumping from one to other. And now I'm here today sitting with you.
Yeah, advertising has great budgets. I remember I went from, being a model, and then I went on to the set of Kabhi Haan Kabhi Na. And my big fight with Kundan was always, what is this cheap production? You can't give me Coca-Cola. You can't give me some decent food, So yeah, the budgets are very different.
Okay, so my next question is actually to you. It is that I've seen Ferrari ki Sawari not once, I've seen it several times because I went once with my parents. I remember where I was sitting also in Gaiety Galaxy. And then our school took us, and I think I saw it once more after that. And I really loved the film. And I remember all the songs even now. And we sing it also in office, by the way.
Sing one. Let's hear it. Yeah.
No, I have a poor voice. You'll judge me. No.
Jog a memory of the song.
Okay, anyway, that's enough. No, but even with Ventilator, I've seen that also several years ago when it released. You managed to hit that sweet spot between humor and emotion. And that is something that's, I think, very, very poignant and very beautiful. How do you do that? What is the secret?
It's not that I craft it. You can't craft that because I think as a person, I'm like that. I laugh, I'm funny, I get emotional, I cry. I do everything. I think something that my personality rubs into the stories I want to tell. So instinctively, I feel this is what I want to say, and I say it, and it becomes like that. I can't craft it. I just get into writing, and it starts.
Yeah, that's fantastic because I think Bong Joon-ho also said the personal is the most creative. And even though you are someone who is medium and genre agnostic in the sense that you tell all different kinds of stories, you don't have a thematic consistency. In a way, they are still personal because it's an extension of your personality and an extension of who you are. Do you think you have a kind of sensibility or a style that transcends across mediums? That is, whether it's painting or writing or cinema. Do you think you have that one signature that is yours that transcends across mediums? I know it's a bit of an abstract question.
No, it's not an abstract question. It's a very valid question. But I think for me to answer it would be very pompous. Like I said, my whole approach to what I do is also passion driven. It is not a plan. So if it does translate, frankly, I'm grateful. I don't think it always translates. My artistic core will always be who I am. Like you won't find me in like a that go against my sensibilities. You won't find me doing something that is against my sensibilities. I may like recently I had two offers for foreign projects where there was frontal nudity involved, and I have greatest admiration for somebody who can grab those offers and do it. But I'm like, no way. There's no way that I want to put myself out there. So I think you just stick to your core at some point and across everything you do. It's like I don't think I would ever get tempted by something like this just because it would take me to another industry or give me worldwide exposure, or I would ever take up something just because the fee is very good if it goes against my morality. No, I won't do it.
Right. But my question was actually a little when I, let's say, to give you an example, when I opened, let's say, Netflix, and I spend 10 minutes kind of going through the entire catalog before I decide what I want to watch. I'll watch perhaps 10 minutes, I'll get bored, and then I'll switch something else on. But we all have those sort of films that we are like from the tens of thousands on Netflix. You will be drawn to watching a few films. So we all have a sensibility towards what we like watching, what we like reading, what we like. So do you think you have a core sensibility in that sense? Is that just one kind of writing or one kind of cinema or one kind of art style that you're drawn to?
Yes, I'm drawn to upliftment and hope and joy. I don't like darkness. I think there's enough darkness in everybody's life to not bring it out on in your art. At least that's how I look at it. A lot of people thrive in bringing it out in their art, but I don't. I don't bring. So I think even if not that I have a very small body of work, but I think if somebody was to see my face on a poster, they'll know that it's going to be a happy feeling. They're going to leave the experience with.
And do you think that the artist chooses the medium or does the medium choose the artist? And what I mean by this is that do you think that if you had, let's say, a story and you think it could have been better told in the form of a painting or a piece of writing, standalone writing, you would rather do that than make a film out of it, and vice versa? Are you someone who believes that the artist chooses the medium, or does the medium choose you?
I think, filmmaking is such a collaborative medium that if you don't want the headache, you'll naturally gravitate towards just writing a book or doing a painting. It's so much easier, because filmmaking is very collaborative. It's like, it's a chorus, I'm not going to give anything away, but like you say, I think you get a calling of the art, and also you decide depending on your headspace. Like, I would love to be a director, but I feel ये सब headache किसको झेलेगा यार, there's so much work, you have to deal with so many people, egos, processes. So it's easier for me to just paint that thought out or write a book, sit alone in my house, write a book, phone that one publisher, deal with that one person. So it's very, I think it's also your own capability.
Artist chooses medium or medium chooses artist. It's a very difficult question for me to comprehend and answer, but I'll have because I know only one medium, which is film, so I only can express through that. But now that medium also is fragmented into various forms. It's like web series or a short film or a music video or a full-length film. So then, as per the story, one decides how do you want to tell this story, So that's the only thing which I can choose. Rest, I can't choose. I don't know how to choose.
But do you think that if you had a story, and hypothetically, if you had a story and you would feel that perhaps it could be make for a much better novel than a piece of film, do you think that that's an idea you would explore, or that's a possibility you would sort of consider?
I don't know. I really admire people who can write novel. So I look at these fat novels and it's very difficult to read. Then I admire who writes those. So I never thought of that this story could be, because my natural instinct is to क्या बनिया हो ना, तो दुकान में माल बेचना है, यही आता है ना, बाकी कुछ नहीं आता है. बैंक में जाके उसको डिपॉजिट करना वो नहीं, मालूम ही नहीं है. तो naturally वो film making नहीं आता है. I never thought of writing a novel. I mean, I thought of writing my experience of making ventilator into a book. That I could thought of, but after that, but not like a immediate make into a novel. I don't know that.
Since the both of you are from a different generation of filmmakers than what I am or Utsav is or many others here are, I want to understand what is your perspective on how the industry has kind of evolved. For example, one thing that I have seen in my own this thing is that when I would go on my dad's sets when I was young, is that I would see that, the ADs would do everything, right? They would do production also, they would do logistics also, and now there are clear designated roles for every single AD. Like a chief AD is making sure everything's on time and on schedule and the budgets are under control. The second will be looking into only art, second will be looking into costume, XYZ, DEF. So what is it that you think has become more organized, and also the things that have become more disorganized?
I think more organized is, yes, technical know-how, where filmmaking process has become more organized. The crew has become more organized. There was no first AD system when we were making. Like, even I saw that how it started evolving from my first three films, Munna Bhai MBBS, Lagero, and Three Idiots. By Three Idiots, there was a first AD. Okay, on Lagero and Munna Bhai MBBS, there was no first AD. Because I was a chief assistant director. I would do everything. प्रोडक्शन ऑल्सो, वाटर टैंकर आया कि नहीं, खाना लगा कि नहीं, टेबल लगे कि नहीं, किसके साथ बीएमसी वाला बाहर आ गया, अगर शूटिंग कर रहे हैं तो उसके साथ बात करो, पुलिस वाला आया उसके साथ बात करो. So as a chief AD, you're doing that also. You're also seeing continuity. Somebody is handling, see, is he or is she making mistake? Is there a problem? You're also seeing, has the scenes are gone to the actors or no? Has the actors have done the scene? So you are like multitasking. I think that was a great training, because then I was not doing a specific work, because I was doing like an arena of work which I was doing, which was great. But suddenly when the first AV system came, I felt, now I can breathe. I can only do this much. I can only focus on short division. First AD is taking care, because I was associate on Three Idiots. So I was able to focus just on short divisions and actors reading with Raju. So I didn't have to get into first. So that has actually become very, very organized. And yes, I look at when I work with my team now, my first AD, my second, my third, my second, my third, they all come. They all come, they will come, and they're like extremely knowledgeable, extremely sharp in their understanding, extremely sharp in finding something for you, quick access to everything you want. They deliver 6 o'clock, they're out, they're in Delali, and I'm still in the office. But I asked them, hello, where everybody gone? He said, everything is done, सब खत्म हो गया, अभी क्या करना ऑफिस में बैठ के? I said, यार, हमारे जमाने में ना बॉस नहीं हिलता था ना, हम जाते ही नहीं, ऑफिस में बैठे रहे 12-1 बजे तक, बॉस अंदर बैठा है, बाहर कुछ काम नहीं, इसी बैठे हुए. I think that's a great change. And yes, then the technicality, which is from film to digital to now we're moving to AI. So this whole journey, the ways you can explore things. Like I remember when we were shooting Three Idiots, and we had to carry those cans from Mumbai to Ladakh, and we were so scared of scanning it. Every airport had to produce a letter and fight with the scanning guy. Don't put my can there because they might get fog. And then once we reach Ladakh, we go there, we start shooting, and suddenly, Amir Khan is running, and I know only 2 cans are left. So I'll tell Amir, don't run twice, only run once because I don't have cans. So, so those things have changed now, because now you have drive. So now you can jump, swim, fly, do anything, keeps camera rolling, 1 camera, 2 camera, 3. So the storytelling style has changed. So I'm able to cut my edit swiftly because I have 2 camera setups, and so the actions are matching. I can edit faster. I can edit anywhere. I can sit here and edit. So I remember Renu Saluja was cutting it, and she didn't like one shot. One frame she didn't like, she sliced it and she threw it. Okay. And Vinod Chopra, he wanted that. And then he said, no, I want it. She said, no, you can't put this frame. It's enough. Only, they used to be like, she used to cut like 1 frame, like that sharp. After she left, that entire heap of all the films, kachra, they were looking for that 1 frame.
Wow.
Where is that frame gone? And he found that frame, and next day, I think he sat again with Renu, and she said, I want to put these frames into that because I think I want to take that call. I'm the director. Kind of. So those are very funny stories, which also comes with that. I remember I made an ad film for Apollo Tires, and it was a 60-second ad film, and there were 600 prints of that, which has to be delivered. So I was sitting in Prasad Lab, Chennai, and checking every print that is there are no pinholes there because otherwise that will get rejected. So seeing 60-second ad 600 times, it's getting projected and sitting there. It was 4 days. It was very tiring.
I think that's very good that it's become a more equal and democratic process. But the downside is, of course, that roles are so demarcated that passion is sometimes diluted. It's like, but can I have a earring with this costume? But earring department is separate. You know what I'm saying? So it's literally become as demarcated as that. So
I want to ask you, with the whole OTT space opening up, how do you think that's reshaping careers of actors, writers, filmmakers, other technicians? Do you think that it's in a way going to change the face of Indian cinema? Do you think it's going to change not just the face of Indian cinema, but also reshape the careers within the film industry?
when it started off, it started with that promise, but now it's the same groupism and everything that's again bringing the deterioration in content, in my view. But yeah, it's inevitable. We need more platforms. That's the true democracy. Yeah.
The good thing is there are multiple opportunities available now because back then, if one film, like if there are 10 film made in Hindi film industry, when those are announced, crew is all employed, there's no work for other people to do. Well, what do? Aspiring filmmakers, if he has to make a film, I remember ADs and assistant cameramen used to take leftover stock, like 100 feet is left, 50 feet is left, 10 feet is left, gather that, save it so that you can make a short film. So you gather that stock, put it into ad lab, freeze it there. Whenever you want, you access that and you make your film.
Wow.
So it was so difficult even to make your film. It was so difficult to tell your personal story or any story you want because there are certain type of cinema which was allowed. Then there was demarcation of art cinema and mainstream cinema. That's it. There was nothing else. Okay. So there were art cinema crew and directors and the makers were different. The mainstream cinema crew and makers were different. So there was no opportunity for you to even explore. Now I can take an iPhone, I can shoot something, I can explore ski. मेरे में है क्या? Can I do it? So I'm able to do that now. I can quickly pull out some reference music and put it there. I can make that. I can showcase that. I can get a job with that. Because of that, so many actors. There was only one stereotype. Hero, heroine, that's it. Now the stories are expanding. The protagonists are multiple protagonists into the multi-genre storytelling. So good actors are getting opportunity and different kind of stories can be told in different languages. So I think it's a great time for the film industry.
What's interesting about the two of you is that you all have similar paces from which you all have learned, in the sense that you started your career with Kundan Shah and you learned a lot from Vidhu Vinod Chopra. Incidentally, they were very, very close friends and they were batchmates.
I also worked with Kundan ji.
Oh,
yeah.
So they were batchmates at FTI, and among them there was Renu Saloja was there. I'll ask you first. What would you say is the one thing that you learned from VVC that has stayed with you, and that has been that one indelible memory and that one indelible takeaway that has held you in good stead in your life and your career?
Honesty. I mean, he always told me that whatever happens, tell your story with honesty. You'll feel it. You'll know that you want to tell this story, and tell your story with honesty. So that's one thing which I see. Never compromise on that because as I said, I never came to make a film, but like I'm an explorer, I'm people's person. I love being with people, understanding them, their personalities. So what I learned from him, which I think he has that small thing what he gave me, and which I try to retain as much as I can till date. So that's one thing, honesty about telling a story.
What's your take on how important it? Like you just said, I love people, I love this thing. I'm not sure I do, though I consider myself quite artistic. So how important do you think it is?
I'm a people's person because I think it's my upbringing. I grew up in a joint family, and at any given point there were like 68 people in my house.
Oh,
yeah, 68.
No choice then.
Yeah, so you're always surrounded, always loved, maybe shouted or maybe told what is to be done. So all the time you're surrounded, and I think that's where my film script Ventilator comes from. So if somebody asked me that time how much time it took you to write Ventilator script, I would say 48 years because I was 49 then. Because all that I have learned and seen, all the characters and the house, all that comes into that. But coming to the question of, I never consciously did that, but I can't be alone. I have to be with people. I have to, like, I love this. I love this gathering, like how personally we are all sitting together, chatting, exploring. They are exploring me. I'm exploring them. They are laughing, they smiling. Maybe they are not reacting, and we all are, like, I'm also enjoying. I'm not trying to understand her and I'm getting to know her. I'm getting to know you. So it's such a beautiful thing that we on this planet Earth connect with this energy and understand each other and love each other. I love that.
I'm working with a music arranger right now, my music producer. And to get him even to talk on the phone is very difficult. When we're working, we're jamming, we're getting the tracks done, it's great. Then he says, "Ma'am, you just message me. I hate talking to people."
So incidentally, my mentor is also Uncle Saeed Mirza, and he's my immediate neighbor also. And he happens to be a good friend of VBC, and of course, Kundan Shah used to keep coming over, so I used to have great chats with him also. And Saeed Uncle used to tell me that, son, you're in the business of people. And so he would, because I would write all of these esoteric ideas and then I would present it to him and he would reject all of them. He said, "What the hell have you written?" And he would say, why are you not speaking to the andawala? Why are you not speaking to the building watchman? Why are you not speaking to the newspaper man? Because these are where the real stories will come from. So whenever I would take an auto rickshaw, then I would want to hear what their stories are. And that was something that really stayed with me. And I think that's also similar to what you're talking about.
Absolutely.
My next question is actually about nepotism. Do you think that because of the criticism that the industry has been getting over so many years, that, that the doors actually don't open from the outside, they open from the inside. And so you always need someone to open the door for you, whether it's a parent in the industry or it's some form of industry connections that you have that will eventually open the door for you. Do you think that now things are changing? Like it's more open to fresher, newer voices? Do you still think that the industry is quite closed in that sense?
I think nepotism was far worse earlier. It was just never talked about. Dharminder ka beta was assumed to become a hero. The kids were assumed to just become that. It was never questioned. It was a given. Raja ka beta Raja, Rani ki beti dekhte hain, kaam karna chahti hai ki nahi. I think this hate on somebody just because of where they're born, which is the current culture, is pitiful. It's despicable in its own way, because it's like, how can you grudge somebody just their birth, That shows you have such a complex about your own self. It's like you're shaming your own parents, Like I always say that I came from, my parents had no connection to the movies. No connection. And I never cursed anybody else who had a connection, because I was proud of my parents, whatever they did. And that is something that it's become such a greedy culture, that people want what others have.
Of course, there's a space for industry kids, but should there not also be a space for people coming in?
Are you mad? There's Mukesh Chabra who comes on Instagram and says, "Send me your reels." What can get more democratic than that?
Yeah.
The opportunity is everywhere. People have to just grab it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Keep an eye out for your own opportunities rather than cursing what somebody else has. Because there's no better time now. Access is easier now than ever.
Yeah.
Is my view. What do you think?
So I told him the story. Okay, so what happened? Richard Bach, the seagull, Jonathan Livingston, the seagull, decided to cross the horizon. He wanted to cross the horizon to see if there is a horizon beyond the horizon. So every day he practiced to cross that horizon, and he failed and failed, and then one day he crossed something, and when he crossed something, then he saw something beyond that, and he started taking his son there. Okay, and the day he found that there is I can't do it anymore. That's my horizon. So he challenged the horizon. He set the new horizon for his son. So now son knew that is the horizon. Now son had to cross that horizon. If he had not done that exercise and cross there, how would his son know that there's a horizon beyond that? So I keep telling him, I have worked, come up to here. I said this. Now you have to go beyond that. And that's why I respect Adi Chopra for, where he's taken what Yash has created, or somebody like him who's created. So I don't think it's misused word, misinterpreted. Of course, there will be a new Jonathan Livingston waiting to be become that person, that seagull. So then he can create that for his family. So I don't think it is in a good spirit that is taken, but whatever we are creating, your parents have created for you, you're taking it forward. So who you become, Kabir, today is what Kirit has created for you, your mother has created for you. So you're able to explore that and take it beyond, and that's your credibility that you're doing it. So that takes that kind of gut to then find a new horizon. So that's nepotism for me.
Do you think that cinema has a certain kind of social responsibility? Do you think that film is only a medium of entertainment, or can it be something more, something deeper, something more meaningful?
See, cinema ultimately is a business. So you can decide whether you want to sell gutka or you want to sell some khadi bandar ka product, So I feel cinema is ultimately a business, and it is the prerogative of the cinema maker on what he wants to sell it and how. If it comes with social responsibility, great. But you can't thrust that on every maker, because maybe he doesn't have a social responsibility. He's in business. Every business, you can't force a social responsibility. Like, I didn't see Annabelle because I was already so preconditioned that this is offensive, this is that, this is that. But I feel if that is the film he wanted to make, of course he has the right to make it.
Personally, I feel after watching my film, if I'm able to make a change in his or her life, little bit, make him or her aware of something which she was missing for that moment, I think I've done my job. So that's where I would personally come from to tell the story.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.